for dance music, I guess, was for me coming to London in the early years of dance music. Probably the Asian fusion scene, you know, with people like Fundamental and Santogold and people like that. It was kind of like aggressive industrial hip hop, but with Asian influence and stuff. But really, I suppose for me, the first scene I felt like I was involved with from early on was the jungle scene. So really, a lot of people that inspired me from those scenes were people like, you know, Crust and Die and you know, the tunes that I was really into, I suppose, and the full site beat recordings crew, Brian G, and the movement, being down at Movement in the late 90s and stuff, and Stoke as well. Shy and Mark, T-Pat, all the people that we came out of the same studio as us, I guess. In a way, you know, I always loved Detroit techno and stuff like that as well, but I just never felt that connection to it in the same way as I did the beats and the bass kind of music. Having said that, the stuff I did love that I used to play out sometimes even was things like Carl Craig, At Layers and tunes like that, where the beats are all syncopated and kind of chopped up and messed up a bit, but still with that beautiful melody and melodic stuff over the top. I mean, some people seem to gravitate towards the trance and techno side of it, where there's your kick drum and all the stuff going off on top, and other people seem to go for stuff that's more on the bottom end, and a way the early days of breaks anyway was a balance between the two of them, and that's what I liked about it. It had the kind of bass of jungle and the breaks, but you would have Detroit techno sort of linear soundscapes over the top of that, or more jazzy styles over the top. And I mean, there was a huge variety, as with any scene when it starts out, but it was a combination. But definitely I'm more, I guess, I'm more of a bass and beats kind of producer and DJ. I think there's a ton of people making really creative music in the scene, and for me it was a matter of, you know, I mean, I guess if you look at, there was a halftime thing on my first album, I suppose, in 98 or 99, that was halftime to breakbeat, and then maybe 4 years ago I did a similar kind of thing 4 or 5 years ago with the Khalees remix I did, which was on the halftime as opposed to a double time thing. So for me it was really more inspired by people like Timbaland and people like that, who took jungle and put it on a halftime. So what I did was took breaks and slowed it down to the halftime, and I've done a few things like that over the years. And I guess for me, just having the dubstep scene come up at a time where I was like, well cool, that's an angle that I've been exploring, that there's a scene there for the music, and you kind of move into that, and I guess that's where the Creator tune came from. I don't know, to be honest. You know, I was born in Fiji, I grew up in New Zealand, I've lived in Australia, I lived in England for a long time, stay in LA now. I just kind of, I always come back to London because there's so much inspiring music here. But I prefer the lifestyle in LA, you know. I mean, when I say LA, I don't mean Hollywood and all that. I can't remember the last time I went to Hollywood. You know, when I'm in LA, I'm out by the beach. I just stay out on the west side and just have my studio there and do my thing. And it's close to the airport, so I'm just out, go and play, come back, and yeah, so it's a balance between that, and I guess I spend a fair bit of time in New York as well. I think 2 or 3 years ago, I remember playing in New Year's Eve and ending up back in London, and I had a couple of weeks worth of work to do, finishing a remix and a track for someone else. And I remember thinking, you know, I could be anywhere doing this. I'm sitting in my flat in Brixton, but I'm doing it on my laptop with headphones, most of it. I could be anywhere. So I looked on Craigslist and just found a place. I just want a place by the beach. And I took the first place that had a view of the beach, and I flew over, and it was awesome. I stayed there for 3 weeks, finished all my work. What am I doing? I could be doing this anytime. So I just end up going back more and more.
When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at my presence. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands.
Yeah, me and Dave were playing at the Good Vibration Festival in Australia, and we were playing before and after each other for most of the gigs, for all of them actually. So we got to know each other a bit there. I didn't really know about his music before then, and vice versa, I think. And we seemed to enjoy each other's sets, so we thought we'd jump in the studio and try and do something. We got a day in, but didn't really get a decent run at it. And then we both ended up in Miami the next March. And
of his
And
own
so we said,
hands.
cool, we'll get a studio in New York and do some stuff. So we both ended up in New York, and then we were just out looking for vocalists. We're in New York, did a bunch of beats, and we were scrambling around for some vocalists, and a few people came in. And then we were at Diplo's club in Cielo, and Dave said, do you know any vocalists? He said, yeah, there's this girl, Santi. And so she came in the studio, and she did a vocal, which is a whole other story. It was really, really interesting. And afterwards, I remember saying, well, I'd never heard her sing before that. I just heard she was good. He recommended her on that on the basis of a recommendation for him. And she was awesome. She was wicked. And she came in the studio, and the vocals were very different from what she had done before, what she was doing. And she's really talented. She's an awesome artist. And that was that. It was done pretty quickly, really.
The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands.
Yeah, I have been working on things. They're all sort of bubbling under at the moment, or being finished. So hopefully over this next coming 8-10 months, a few of those will start popping out with a bunch of different people, really.
Anything you can give away?
I mean, I feel really lucky to have been part of it, and I think right now it's just going through that phase that all scenes go through, where it comes out and it's super creative, maybe the production isn't so high, and then the production standards are raised, and it tends to focus on a couple of certain sounds, and maybe the creativity is a little less open creatively. And then toward the end of that cycle, the production gets really shit hot, but it's become so honed on one thing, it's a lot less creative in the larger spectrum. So it's great production. I mean, the production and breaks that some of the kids are making are amazing, but it's become very linear and on one type of thing, and I think it's kind of lost a little of that expansiveness that it had in the beginning, that it seemed like you dubstep now and you can pretty much do anything in that tempo range. But like all scenes, like dubstep coming out of garage, essentially, when garage got very cliched and, you know, would disappear for a while, and up comes dubstep, or up comes grime. So it's just in one of those phases now where I think it will just go underground even further and come up in another form. If you listen to Baltimore, I mean, I remember saying this today when we were in the studio doing the creative tune, and if you listen to, if you hadn't heard Breakbeat or Baltimore and you listen to it, you could say, well, it's either, you could refer to it from two different sides. You could say it's shittily produced breakbeat, or it's kind of, or it's a new funky sample heavy kind of big beat or something. Do you know what I mean? But it depends which way. I mean, the sample, the production levels are real low, but the ideas are amazing. There's some great ideas in it. So I think it's the idea that could be breaks, or you hear all the Violafunk stuff coming out. And for me, it's anything that isn't hip hop or drum and bass that's not four on the floor. That's kind of breaks. And even then, you know, there's people like Rico Tubbs doing that banging. There's almost like bumping garage, but mixed with Baltimore breaks. It's still bassline music, it's still funky, there's breaks in there. You're right, I mean, it could be anything, it's just how you interpret it. I guess I got a dope acoustic guitar that I love, and I've never used it on any record, and I just sit around plinking and plonking around the house with it because I'm a pretty shit guitarist, but it's a 1953 Gibson. It's just ancient and beautiful and sounds incredible, and I suppose that would be. I mean, I love my computer and that's what I write on and stuff, but I could get another one of those tomorrow. Yeah, totally. In fact, I chopped a foot off it a couple of months ago. I was a bit ill and I was in LA, and I was like, oh, I feel, you know, when you feel a bit sweaty and horrible and like things that piss you off easy, and I was like, and causing me problems. I woke up and it's kind of wrapped around my neck, and I was like, you know what, some of this has got to go. So I got my girlfriend to get the shears out. She's like, it's like clipping a hedge, do you know what I mean? So